I'm going to start out today with the quick little demo that I mentioned in the Google group. It is just a quick review of our anchor links, the way that you can create a link to go to a different part of a page. I probably should have had an example ready, but let's see if I have one. Here we go. So we have a link here with the context of the rest of the sentence. It lets us know that there's a certain part of the page that if you find it under find specific topics, by clicking on this, it's taking me quickly down the page to that exact spot. So I'm going to scroll back up. And we are essentially on the same page, but again, it is a quick jump way to get the person exactly to where you'd like them to start reading. And then the other part of that is that the URL obviously has to change. So instead of being a slash, it is a hashtag or a pound sign. So that is what makes it a link that's internal to this same page. So let's go ahead and show how to create this on the demo site. All right, I'm going to use our about page because, yeah, I have some text here already. So when it comes to anchor links, there's two parts, the anchor and then the link that will lead to that anchor. So you want to drop the anchor where you'd like the person to land. And then the link, you can place it wherever. You can even place a link to an anchor on a different page than the one that it would lead to. So first I guess there's different order in which you can do it, but I'll go ahead and drop the anchors first. So before you drop any anchors, you want to first place your cursor where you'd like the person to land. And usually that's at the beginning of the line. So it doesn't always have to be the beginning of a paragraph, but it is best to just place it on the left-hand side just to keep your text cleaner. So once you have that in place, I'm just going to put it at the beginning of my paragraph. The anchor link tool is Insert Edit Anchor on the toolbar. And that's going to bring up this little pop-up window. And the anchor name is whatever is going to be after the pound sign. So we don't have to include the pound sign here. We're simply giving this a name. I'm going to call this trees. One tip about this, you can copy the anchor name so that you don't have to retype it again, because this is also going to create the link that will lead back to the anchor. So we'll drop one there. And before I create another anchor, let's finish off the link for that anchor. So before you create a link, you want to either have an image selected or text selected to become that link. So I'm just going to make it simple, link to trees. And once you highlight that object, the text or the image, then we can use the Insert Edit Link tool or the Link to Content tool. These are both similar, and I'll use actually this one this time. So the link URL, we paste in trees, but actually I forgot to add in first the pound sign. So pound sign, then anchor name. And this is going to lead to the same spot on the same page. I can have the link URL this simply written because I am adding an anchor that is on the same page as the link. If I was adding this link to a different page, then I would also have to include the URL of this page, and that you can just steal from here. I know this is a little bit small, but in your address bar, you're always going to have the URL, which includes the node ID. That's going to be what leads back to the main page, and I'm working on my about page. So if I copy this, then we get to see my about page. And so that's what you can copy if you're planning to add it to another page. But I'm simply just adding it to the same, so I'll insert that link. And before we test it, I'm going to go ahead and add a second one. So let's add something to the second paragraph here. Again, with the anchor, we want to add some helpful anchor name. You can add any shorthand, abbreviations, whatever, but you do have to begin with a letter, I believe. I think numbers are not accepted as the first entry. Actually, let's see if numbers are accepted. Okay, so they are accepted. I'm going to open that back up. So you just can't start with a number, but that's really one of the only rules. The other rule is that no spaces are allowed. So use a dash instead of spaces if you're going longer than one word. So again, I'm going to copy what I have here. And then coming back up here, if you are planning to have kind of a mini menu of options where there are different links to different anchors, what we often see is a separation of these different links with that vertical bar. And let's just name that link to anchor. Again, I'll use this link tool this time. I'm going to add in the pound sign and paste in my anchor name. And just to differentiate this from the little link below, I'm going to do that and even center it. But that's totally optional formatting. But let's go ahead and save this and test those out. If your anchors are, within the same scroll, visible already on the screen, when somebody clicks on them, they may not notice much movement. But link to anchor takes us with this paragraph being at the very top of the page. And then let's try the other, link to trees. This was the second to last paragraph. And so the anchor is always the very top of the page. So if you're trying to, maneuver the view to maybe you want them to see this, you can have the anchor a little bit higher than where you're aiming for. But any questions about how that's done, or any tips that you'd like about how to use these or where to? Yeah, Mary Jo.
Well, I don't pretend to understand what you just did, but I can appreciate that it's a good thing to know. What I do want to ask is, you just kind of went over it. You said it was like a split between the two links. How did you make that?
So on the keyboard, I think should be above the
I
backward
see.
slant.
I've never used that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. No, good question, because that's not the first time that I've heard that. And I got a question in the chat, where did the yellow box come from? I'm going to go back to show how that formatting was added. That is one of the styles that I applied. But I'll go ahead and remove it and then reapply it. And let me zoom in a bit here. There we go. All right, so this here is the notice. Under the styles, we have this selection. Whoops, let me highlight the whole thing that I have there. To apply it and remove it, you just select it each time. Just make sure that you are highlighting what you'd like to see with that different style. We also have special, which makes it a serif font. The more you choose from the list, you're just going to have them all applied. And then I also use that for the centering as well. And then Maddie, I see your hands raised.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, when you placed the links, what's the difference between the regular link and the link to content?
The main difference is the link to content has an additional find content section down here. And usually you have to zoom out to see the full tool. But under find content, you can search for your site's content. If you are a webmaster of more than one site, it might not be as easy to use because it's going to typically be pulling content from one site versus all of them. But you can search by title of any page, event, position, whatever a type of content you want to link to, you can quickly find it here. And then the other, you have the list to search through. So you could search for it by title or type, and then apply, or just search through the list by name. And once you click on the item, I clicked on sample month-long event, it drops in the node and the node ID, so that it's always going to link back to that same item.
So you basically, when you're doing link to content, you don't need to go get the URL. Like
Right.
the other one, you need to find out what the URL is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. For the other one, you have to know exactly what the URL is so that you can enter it in manually. Here, it allows you to search your own league's content, and then it drops the link in for you.
So question, and when you're linking to something within your own league, you know, I frequently give the whole URL, but you can do like a partial URL too, right? How do you do that?
I think, are you talking about something like this where it's just like the last half?
Right, right.
Yeah. If you wanted to do that, let's say instead of the node ID, but you know the title of the page, so that translates to the URL, or at least the very end of it. So let's use my California demo site about page, for example. So I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with the end of the URL first, just for this example. The last part is always the title of the page or content. So about is the title for mine. Then the second part, the part before this, is the name of your site. So my site name is demo-site. And then the first part would be your state. So California /demo-site/about. And one last ingredient is the / so that that beginning / tells the system that this is a separate page than the home page. Is that what you were getting at, Maddie?
Slash, or is that a backslash?
A /.
Oh, okay.
/ throughout. And let's see, did I actually click anything? Let's see if I insert that. Okay, so it's titled sample month-long event. Let's actually just open it in a new window. But it should lead to my about page. Yeah, so this is essentially what I just built. I'm gonna put that in a text box to make that bigger. So, whoops. Those are the ingredients. So it's always your /, your state, / your league name, / whatever the name of the content is.
Which is actually probably in the URL that I see. I can just leave the very beginning part off, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. As long as you take off our main domain, our main URL, then those are always the quick paths or the quick short URLs to get to your site.
Okay. Yeah, this is really great. I mean, I use this on our frequently asked questions page where I had all the questions listed at the top, and then each one of them would link down to more information.
Yeah,
and
that is great.
Really nice. I do find, you know, when I create the anchors, then I make a little cheat sheet with all the names so that I remember what they are.
There you go.
Yes, you can, you go find them and click on them and figure out what they are, right? But that
it definitely saves you time. Right, yeah. Exactly. If you have a notepad open next to you. You're going to be copying and pasting anyway, so you can always drop them in and keep that list like Maddie's saying. That's a good idea. Yeah, because especially when you are working with a lot of anchor links that you're trying to create, sometimes it's easier to just go down the list, drop all your anchors first, and then come back up and create each link after that. Doing it back and forth, anchor and then the link is fine when you're working with a shorter page or just with a couple of anchor links. But I bet Maddie knows that with a longer page, it starts to get a little cumbersome after a while. But I'm going to go ahead and create one more. I wanted to show off just what it looks like when it's at the bottom of the page. I was saying that the anchor, when you click on the link, it may not seem like it has moved to the exact spot, but when there is an anchor at the very bottom of the page and no space underneath it, it's going to seem like the anchor was dropped elsewhere. I just want to show off what that looks like. So I'm just going to call this bottom page. Copy this. And so I have my phrase. I'm going to use just the insert edit link this time. Oops, my pound sign and pasting in what I had there for the anchor name. And then also the what we see often with longer pages that have anchor links, often they have the back to top button or just a quick way for them to get back up to the list of questions. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can create a link. Let's see, back to top. So I'm making my phrase. When I create the link, I could simply take them back to the page that they're on. So it could be California demo site / about. This is essentially, if I use this, going to refresh their page. And when you have a page refresh, you always start at the top of the page. But let's say your anchor link menu was a little bit further down your page. So instead of using this path, what we can do is drop an anchor next to our menu of links. And we can just call this anchor link menu. And I'll copy that. And then it's the same thing that we were just doing, creating the anchor, and then we create the link. We want to add the pound sign, whoops, and paste in that phrase. And then a little bit of formatting that we see with that button sometimes. Under the styles, we have the button. And you can also, I believe it's right justify, but totally up to your taste. But I'll go ahead and save it like that so that we can test that out. All right, so I'm going to go to the bottom. So let's try that again. So it sends me, there we go. Okay, the difference in the first click is actually the social media things in the sidebar are making my page longer. So it helped to actually get us to the right spot on the page. I'm going to click on that one more time, and we see that this is at the very top of the page. If I reload the page, I'm going to view the draft once again. When the things have not loaded, so I clicked on go to bottom, and when the sidebar has not fully loaded, the page is technically physically shorter. So instead of having this paragraph at the very top, we're just kind of somewhere near it. So that's one, not really a warning, but just one thing to know. If you have a physically shorter page that doesn't scroll very much, anchors that are set at the very bottom you won't see too much focus on the very bottom paragraphs because it physically cannot go any further. It can't go any lower. And then the back to top button, again, we see the anchor at the very, very top of our screen. All right. Mary Jo, did you have another question?
Well, it was more about when you were changing the button to whatever. I wanted to do that the other day,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't let me do it. I didn't want anything special. I just wanted, I tried
Something to go to the right.
center one, it didn't work, and I tried I think paragraph or something. Anyway, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but.
And was it with the button applied as well?
Well, it was on a page and where I add a lot of different things, and I had it was a link, so I had made it in a button.
Okay.
And then I wasn't going to be, I don't know if I wasn't going to use that anymore, or I can't remember exactly, but I was, highlighting it, expecting to be able to just get rid of it. And it didn't seem to let me go. I mean, I'm not asking to spend a lot of time on that, but I didn't know if I was doing something obviously wrong or.
I don't think it, at least the way that you've described it, it doesn't sound like it. It could also have been if you copied it from elsewhere, some formatting might have been preventing the WYSIWYG from responding as it should.
And then I would use the eraser.
And then it still was not giving.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. That
Oh, yeah, exactly. There you go. That's a good next step.
Yeah. Thank you.
For sure. All right. Did anybody have any other questions about the anchor links? Because then we can just move on to, anybody who came with questions.
I've got two general ones, and then Jennifer and I have a more specific one. We could maybe go towards the end, but I've gotten two of these, and I know I guess they're just trying to drum up business, but one I got in October, and it says, hi there, you're showing error 506 on your website, on a few of your website pages. And then I looked at an earlier one, and it says, hi there, we're noticing error 500. I don't even know what those stand for. All I know is 401. So do you know what those even are?
I don't know the specifics of the 506, but 500s are usually like a URL error. It just has timed out. But you shouldn't worry about those emails.
I'm not worried about it. I just curious what those errors are.
Yeah, I think well, there are HTML 500 errors, and I believe that those are like timeout errors. But because the script sounds so similar, or the messages of those emails, and I'm glad that you read a bit of it too, because that helps folks identify them.
Well, yeah, and then it goes on. I'm confident that these kinds of errors won't be appreciated by your customers. I have decided to simply help and create the doc for you with some screenshots, blah, 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 and like it's all free and stuff. And, I'm not getting into that, of course, but I just had never heard of those errors. I just want to make sure they weren't something that I should know about. And you're saying, we about stuff.
We would, if those errors were happening, we would
I know.
be aware and be trying to mitigate those. They are server timeout errors is essentially what it is that they're referring to. But we've seen, so that is seeming to be a more common spammy email that I'm hoping we're not going to see more of, but we might. We also saw a lot of you're using a copyrighted, my copyrighted image on your site, and you're going to pay, I can't remember the exact script, but it was something along those lines as well. So we've seen these different kinds of spammers. So be aware of those. Know that if they're warning you about anything like that, you can always reach out to us, or even try your state league if you're a local league, but definitely let us know if you have any worries about anything like that.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask about was, so you talked a little bit, and you and Elizabeth talked about, how to maximize people getting to your page. and you mentioned the tag thing, but somebody said, it sounds like the tag is more, so, okay, so if I use a tag, I don't know, redistricting, and then somebody goes to the page and then they see the redistricting thing, they click that, but I think they're just going to get other league stuff, right? Am I correct?
They are going to, it's not going to be just other leagues, as long as you are also tagging other things, then they're going to see a mix of all MyLO leagues that are tagging with redistricting.
But what I'm saying is, how does that help Janie Q from, helping her find my website by me putting redistricting? Is my redistricting, putting it as a tag, going to help somebody from the public find our page because they typed in redistricting?
Essentially, yes. It's not going to be it's essentially through the bots that crawl our site, like the search engine bots. They are the ones that are helping with that, to connect the content to the person searching for those relevant terms. So by maximizing the relevance of, let's say, like you said, redistricting to your content, because you've not only tagged it or added the keywords redistricting to your page, but you also have it linked elsewhere, so you can reach your redistricting page from other pages. It boosts the popularity, I guess. It boosts the visibility of your content to the person searching on Google for redistricting.
And if I did not use a tag, aren't they going to find it through the text in the article, or not?
They are. It just helps to maximize the effectiveness of, like, your content, to see how high it can get.
Okay, it's not hurting anything, I guess.
It is not. It isn't.
If
to
they
not
say, oh,
use
this is just more league junk, they can just go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And you could always add that a little disclaimer before the tags. You could say, the links below are going to lead to, nationwide pages or something like that, just so they know they're
Oh.
seeing it across the nation. Or
Yeah.
but yeah, if you don't use tags, there is no penalty. You're still going to see the high results of MyLO URLs, just how they do perform. But especially with internal pages, sometimes those can get a little buried. You can boost them simply with tagging them either through tags, or you can even link to them through other pages. Just making a web of different references back and forth to your content makes it more visible.
Did you tell us once, though, that there were, I think you were showing different kinds of pages where you could add in something to increase the Googling? And I know, but I can't remember where it was, but I know I think you said on events and articles, that's where you can tag.
Yes.
But I don't know if there were other pages where there was another place that you would put something that would increase your
you may be
I don't
thinking
remember.
of the keywords.
Yeah, where's keywords?
On
Yeah.
every page that has the the webmaster tabs at the top, if you go to the very bottom, once you edit the draft, once we get there, I'll jump to the bottom of the page. Down here where we have the kind of finishing touches for your page,
Yeah.
we have the meta tags,
Yeah.
and it's under basic tags. Here the keywords are divided by commas. Again, this is one of those
Oh.
things like tags, so it doesn't work against you if you're not making use of it, because the bots that are crawling your sites are looking through the text, but they can be helpful if you do use the keywords.
Did you click something to get to that page, or is that at the bottom and I just never noticed it? Or
I did have to click something. So when you get
Go
to the
back.
bottom of the page, this publishing options is
publishing options?
that's
Okay.
what's open by default. So you do have to click meta tags.
So you just literally clicked meta tags.
Yeah, and it by
Okay, I didn't see you do
default,
that. Okay.
the basic tags is open by default. And so
After
scroll
you
down.
click meta tags.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll have to try that. Thank you.
Yeah. And there is a note here that it's not supported by most search engines anymore. So that's why it's not a knock
Oh.
against you if you don't use it, but you
Oh,
can give it a try if you are seeing a page that, if you happen to know that a page is not popping up in results and you know that it should, you could test the keywords out and see if that does make a difference for you.
well then why is it saying this meta tag is not supported by most search engines anymore?
Because that probably is the case. As far as which ones, I'm not entirely sure. But it is there in case you do see a difference in where your pages are landing in search engine results.
Okay, a little confused, but okay, thank you. I'll at least look to see where I can find it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Back to the home page here. And then I thought I heard somebody might have had a question a minute ago.
Yeah, I thought I heard somebody too.
Yeah.
This is Roberta. I'm on the wrong, Zoom account. So
Oh, no worries.
anyway, yeah. Anyway, my question, as long as there's time for questions,
Yeah.
is there somewhere in MyLO where you can see how your pages are doing, or is this elsewhere?
Like the traffic and performance.
Right.
Yeah, the site is equipped to be connected with a Google Analytics account.
I was afraid of that. Okay. I
but
got
you-
just so far. Okay.
But if you are looking for, past traffic reports or, a report here or there, you can request that from my colleague Elizabeth. I can drop her email. Let's see. So for Google Analytics reports, her name is Elizabeth Leslie. But yeah, if you are able to connect your site to a Google account, that you'll have immediate access to see your site traffic, or it'll immediately start to collect. You may not see the full traffic report until 2 days, 48 hours later. But just to show off the spot where you would add in that code, it's through the home page and it's under the advanced settings. And it looks like I have a Google Analytics account already connected. I wish I knew which one.
Yeah, I got just so far, and there was something that I was supposed to get, and I didn't get it, and I gave up. Maybe I should try again.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it might not hurt if we have another analytics webinar, and maybe just take it step by step and not go too far into the details of it. Because they have updated, they are usually updating the interface as far as
Yeah.
Google goes. So yeah,
I
I'm
know
going to make a note
I've
of that.
connected to other websites before, to Google Analytics, and for some reason I got stuck and I gave up. So I'll give it another shot.
For sure. And if you have any questions, you can always give us a call too, to see if we can help out live.
Great. Thanks, Amarise.
For sure. I'm going to see if this is in fact the same Google Analytics account that I'm working on, and I don't believe it is. Okay, sorry. The little sidebar there. I thought I would be able to show off that there. If nobody's opposed, I can show how to generate this what's called the global site tag or the tracking code if you would like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
For sure. So I'm going to just start out from the point of I already have a Google Analytics account. So if you don't already have one, or you don't even have a Google or a Gmail account, then you'll start, definitely a few steps prior to where we're at now. So I'm already logged in, and what I want to do is open up my admin screen. So let me see if I can zoom in just a tad bit more, if that's helpful.
Yes. It's very tiny.
There we go. I think that's a whole lot better. Okay, so when we first land, I'm going to start over again. We're by default open to the home page. So we're going to scroll down to the admin, the little cog, and that's going to open up your admin screen. If you are starting out with a brand new, fresh analytics account, then you're going to want to create a new account. I am a little fuzzy on the importance of an account within your analytics account, but it does have to do with the online property that you're eventually going to create. So the property is what we need to create the Google tracking code that we want. But to have a property, we need to have an account. So that's why this is step one. This new account name, it is not very important. I'm just going to call it account. You could call it websites. You could call it your, demo site website, or, call it by your league name, whatever you'd like. And then the account data sharing settings, this is up to you what you'd like to share back with Google. I typically leave the default stuff. I don't know if that's good, but I usually trust Google in those instances. Then click next. For the account setup, that was it. So now, because I've created my account, what the Google Analytics website does for me is takes me directly to set up the property. So I'm setting them all up at once. So now the property name, let's see, actually, we're going to show advanced options. Okay, yes, sorry. So the property name, let's go ahead and name this. Now I'm going to name this specifically what it is, just so that I have a good description of what online property I'm following. The reporting time zone and currency should be in your default settings. And then I clicked on, again, show advanced options. You want to show advanced options because we want to create a universal analytics property. This is where their latest update came in, because this used to be the default setting, but now we have to manually re-enable that. So now the website URL, we just want to copy from our website. So I'm going to come on back here. I could either use the node ID, or I can just go back to my home page by clicking on the logo, or just copy from the logo. But copy that address, and then just make sure that once you paste it in, remove the HTTPS portion, because we don't want to repeat that. And then here, the last little bubble, all we need is a universal analytics property. So we'll select create a universal analytics property only. And next, and then this last step is just about your organization. This is, I believe it's, let me zoom out a tiny bit. The industry category, I believe, has more to do with the type of, maybe the type of reports, or the way that the data is collected. I'm not entirely sure what it affects, but it has more to do with your experience of Google Analytics and its reporting than it does about it doesn't affect your traffic. It's not going to affect, you know, much else. So it's not a super important question, but try to choose an industry category that best fits your organization.
Maurice, in Constant Contact, they use something similar, and
Okay.
basically then they can say, you know, of your related type organizations, you know, you're doing great, you're doing better than the average. So I mean, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
possibly what, yeah.
Yeah, that is probably a type of reporting. So that sounds about right. Yeah, and I always struggle not knowing what would fit us best. Sometimes other might be better. But I'm going to do that at least for our example. And let's see. I'm going to just see if they're optional. Again, you can answer these just to best tailor the Google Analytics to your organization. But I'm going to try to just answer the first industry category and leave the others blank just to see if it allows me to create it. Okay, it does. So those sets of questions are optional, but again, may be beneficial to your use of Google Analytics. So we have to accept the terms of service and the data processing terms. Once you check the box and click I accept, now we have, it says success. Next step is set up a data stream to start collecting data. For that, I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now. What I assumed it was going to do is spit us back to our property. So if it lands us here, it's kind of trying to prompt you to do something else. But we need to finish up with adding our tracking code. So I'm clicking on the name of the property, and then again, clicking on the name. Did that not change? Let's see if I can open this up. Okay, I think it might be under property settings. So if you end up in any other page, just remember this is the admin screen where you'll see the account that you've created and your different properties. So property settings. Let's see.
Now, is that where you can go change things if you decide to go back and answer all the questions?
Let's see if it doesn't allow me to go back and answer those questions. This is only, the industry category is still there actually.
Yeah.
The ones about your business size and, you know, the types of data you're looking to collect, those questions aren't available anymore, but the industry category is.
Okay. Thank you.
Certainly. Okay, so I believe it is the setup assistant. There we go. Okay. So just one more time, once you create the property, you can come back to the admin screen if you don't see the setup assistant link, but if you do, just go straight to that. And here we're going to, where is this? Oh, I'm sorry, I am a little bit lost on their new updates. Property access management. I don't believe that's it. Property settings is our own. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, there we go. All right, the global site tag is what I was looking for. So it is under the setup assistant. It is tag installation, what we're looking for now. This should, oh, okay. It is the
Where you were
same.
before.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm definitely going to have to take some time again with Google Analytics because I am unsure of what the next step is. When I click on the platform, It should,
You
it's
just-
prompting me to fill in the URL again, but it should already be giving me a code by now. And it's not doing that. Let's see.
It says after creating a data stream, you get tagging information and a measurement ID for web streams.
Similar to a track. Okay. Similar to a tracking ID for universal analytic properties. Okay. I do believe that is it then. We have to set it up twice, I guess. So you create the property, and previously when you created the property, then boom, you got the code. But now, in addition to the account and the property, you also have to set up a data stream. So that seems like that's what's part of their newest update to analytics, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and set that up again. I have that URL still copied to my clipboard. Remove the HTTPS portion, and I'm just going to copy what they have there. My website. Enhanced measurement. Automatically measure interactions and content on your sites in addition to standard page view measurement. Again, I'm just going to leave this enabled. It looks like when you have different elements like links and embedded videos on your page, interaction or data from those will be collected with relevant events. You must ensure that no personally identifiable information will be sent to Google. And I'm pretty sure that that is that's a guarantee. We don't collect information as far as personal information as far as our website and send it to Google. And then the things that are being measured, again, these are usually the types of things you want to see, what they have selected by default. You can, let's see, when you click the cog, you can see the full description of what all of these are, but it looks like every single one of these is enabled. So only if you wanted to disable any of them.
Except for page views.
Yeah, they definitely want to keep that one so they have something to give you.
Oh,
And then
I thought it looked like it was turned off. Okay, I goofed. Okay.
no, I think it is just forced.
Oh,
to be
everybody
enabled.
has that. It's
Mhm.
okay. Got it. Got it.
And then we can go ahead and create that stream. All right, we finally made it. Okay, so if you are adding this to your page in the moment, I always say, leave this page open, because once you add in your code to your home page and you publish that page, this status is going to change. So let's find the global site tag, add new on page tag, add that Google Analytics tag. Yes. So under tagging instructions, add new on page tag is open by default, but you need to expand the global site tag option here. And it looks like a little kind of price tag with a G on it. So we copy that whole string of code, and now I can go back to my home page, and I'm going to edit the draft. And although I have a code there right now, I'm just going to replace it with what I copied. So again, advanced settings, and then Google Analytics tracking code. It's by default going to be set to full HTML. Be sure not to change that. Okay, and I've pasted in my new code. Let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to, don't know if this is going to be helpful, but I'm going to see if that's helpful to me in the long run. Just to try to keep me squared away and knowing which account is which. Make sure, again, the moderation state is set to published, and go ahead and save. We're not seeing a change on this end on my front page, but when I go back to the analytics, let's see, is it going to refresh for me? I may need to close this and then open it back up. No. Okay, it did not update as quickly as I thought. The status, as far as the status, but once you have the Google global site tag added to your homepage and you've published it, you need those two things, then it's just a kind of waiting game until Google starts to collect that data.
But Anne Maurice, so I know we have it. I don't know how, our person Erica did it, but I know she gets reports. But if I'm sitting down and wondering if people are looking at a particular thing I put in a week ago, is there a way I can do that as an administrator to just,
Yeah, like to check your reports.
yeah, or is it a login thing?
You do have to log into the Google Analytics account.
That's what I figured. Okay, so I'll just ask her. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing that you aren't able to access it through MyLO. It's only accessed through the Google Analytics account. And that often is usually a personal Google account. But you definitely can, create a general account if you had wanted to have league access. But as far as the reports, I think I'm going to have to pick Elizabeth's brain on that some more to get a better idea on which kinds of reports do what and how to quickly get to those. When it comes to the homepage of, and I'm not sure why it's not sending me back to the homepage, but when you get on your homepage of your Google Analytics, you are presented with a few different data sets. So, and I think that you can customize what is visible on your homepage. So that's one way to get a quick look at what's going on your site.
Yeah, this is about the only thing that looks familiar from when I did that last.
Zero?
No. Back when I had it on a website and it worked. So thank you so much for all of this time, Anne Maurice. Now that you're saying these things, I remember being stuck on, you're kind of, I'm afraid I'm going to break it, which I guess it's kind of hard to do, but once we get the word advanced in front of anything, I think it's above my pay grade and I back off. So thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. And we encourage folks to try and break things, because if it's breakable, then that means we have to do something about it. But it's always worth trying something out. But yeah, I'm glad that you were able to join us and that we were able to go over this because it definitely is different than what we have in our documentation, the steps to set up your Google Analytics.
Yeah, Annalise, I just wanted to ask, because you did do a demo a while back and made a YouTube, and I used that to set up Google Analytics on our website, but it's looking like they've improved it, and so now nothing is the way we used to. Is that true? Or could I still?
I'm not sure about it. I would imagine that Google is doing their due diligence and trying to, bring the folks that are using the previous technology forward as they improve things. But if that is the case, then maybe our Google Analytics office hours needs to happen a little sooner. I would think that the former is the case, that they are doing what they should to have the folks on the old version, still working and as it should. But we obviously saw that the data streams are now something that have been added. And so have you been able to check that for yourself, Maddie, to see if
I periodically go and look at what our stats are. I was thinking more in terms of, that you went through the whole process of how to set it up, which worked great. but it sounds like potentially that process might be different now. Is that-
Yes,
yeah.
the setup process is different, but as far as you having the connection between your Google Analytics account and your MyLO site, because of the global site tag that you're using, it should still be collecting data as it was before.
Right, so for ongoing users, it's fine, but if somebody wants to go set it up and they find those YouTubes, they might be dated. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is looking like the case. So yeah, I definitely need to, at least for the time being, put a little disclaimer on our training materials, and then soon enough should have at least an updated version of the last half of the data stream portion.
Right.
I mentioned that our league has it. Jennifer, tell her, has Erica said anything about having issues? Because I thought there was something I read somewhere where she was waiting for a telephone or them to get back to her after she gave them a telephone number or something. Does that ring a bell at all?
I don't recall.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be a special thing for you.
Well, is she giving you, are you getting statistics every month?
Yes.
Okay, so okay. Thank you.
And again, it could also be from, I'm not sure, but it could be coming from Elizabeth Leslie, my colleague, because she does generate reports periodically. But I'm not personally
She
sure.
wouldn't have asked her.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, we have gotten to the end of our hour. Definitely let me know of any other questions if you have them. You can give us a call, right after this to our office number, or send me a quick email. But I'll go ahead and end the session for today and get this recording up for y'all.